In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about bodies floating around in the void of space, following clues and eating the fish, and skipping democracy and heading straight to rebellion in our discussion of A Million Suns by Beth Revis. Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult books, series, authors, and voice actors that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire, and today we're going to discuss A Million Suns by Beth Revis.
Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read or listened and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening to us and go read or listen to the book. Then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then listen up.
Yay! That felt really short.
Did it?
Or did you just expel it in one?
I did. It was all in one whoosh.
Almost like somebody going through the airlock of a ship. I bet they're not happy about that.
They're not. And also, I ran out of breath. Also, like someone going out of an airlock on a ship.
Wow. It's almost like we're talking sci-fi
I
again.
know. It's almost like we're talking about the next book in Across the Universe by Beth Revis.
Ta-da.
Almost.
100% accurate.
I know. Except for the fact that Robert Pattinson was there.
Damn you!
Damn you, Robert Pattinson!
God, he just always turns up, doesn't he?
He does. He really does.
It's like buses. There's not one, there's two. Then you turn around and there's an entire field of them with weird-looking cows with mushroom horns.
That moose squeak.
That moose squeak. Mm-hmm. Moose squeak. Moose squeak.
I wonder what that actually sounds like.
Anywho.
We need to ask.
I don't know, but the audio was great.
Yes, the audio was great, but I wonder how it sounded in Beth Revis's head when she wrote it. Think we can get her to do it?
I'm really hoping so. All we can do is ask and then join in.
I know. Everyone, check back next week for the bonus episode with Beth Revis to see if she will indeed moose squeak.
Do you have any background information that does not involve moose squeaks or Robert Pattinson?
No. Yes, I do. From leaguewriters.blogspot.com. They interviewed Beth Revis and they asked her, I know that Chapter 1 in Across the Universe was originally Chapter 4, which is also interesting. Did you have any big changes in revisions like that for A Million Suns? And her response is, Insert more maniacal laughter here.
Nice.
Dude, so much revision. I finished A Million Suns in October, sent it to beta readers, who hated it. Rewrote the entire manuscript in November, sent it to my editor, who was too polite to tell me she hated it. Rewrote the entire manuscript in February. I estimate only 20% of the original manuscript made it to the final, and that I wrote approximately 300,000 words for a 90,000 word novel.
Bloody hell. Wow.
I know. And then just think, paired with last week's background info that the entire thing was just going to be one book.
That's insane.
I know. I bet she probably wished that she had kept it as one book when she was rewriting this one 18 times.
That is crazy.
I know. I wish I could read all those other manuscripts. Because, what happened? What happened?
Yeah. Who lived? Who died? Who's still on Fidus? Who's still on Godspeed?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Wow.
I know. It's really cool.
Ooh. Ooh.
So what are your initial thoughts for this one?
Oh,
I beat you to it.
Damn it. Yay. More story. Pleasant cliffhanger from the first one. So it's nice to have that continuation. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm excited. And this one felt different as well. So that's a good thing. It doesn't feel like it's more of the same.
Yeah.
Which is always a worry when you've got a series of books.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, I was excited for it. Typically, the second book in a trilogy is my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know about this one because I also really like the third one. And I also really like the first one. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say which one is my favorite this time.
It doesn't read like 3 separate books. It reads like one story in 3 parts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how my brain is processing it, rather than it being three books,
right?
3 parts, which essentially is the same thing. I realise it is essentially the same thing, but yeah, I've processed it differently.
Yeah. Well, I was excited for this one. I was excited for this one, when it originally came out, because, like I said last week, I was reading them as they were published. So it was exciting to get to the second one, and I was excited to reread it. So hooray!
It's just good to have some good sci-fi.
I know, I love sci-fi so much.
Yeah.
First comes horror, then comes sci-fi.
We need to get some more sci-fi. If anybody has any recommendations, pop them in the comments.
Yeah, please do. Tell us your favorite sci-fi. All right, you ready? You ready to get into the summary of this one?
We're ready. Let's do this.
Right. It's been 3 months since the events of Across the Universe. An elder, as leader, has taken the population of Godspeed off Fidus. Elder has found out from the first-level shipper, Murray, that the engines aren't slowing, something that Eldest had said, but that they've completely stopped.
What?
Eldest may have lied to everyone about their voyage, but the shippers also lied to Eldest. And Eldest isn't happy. No, don't start it again. Eldest isn't in this one. Stop it. Don't do it again.
No, Eldest isn't happy because Eldest is dead. The least happy he's ever been.
The current first-level shippers don't know how long Godspeed has been stopped. It's a secret and a lie passed down from one first shipper to another, but it's possibly been going on since the plague. Really, they don't know how far away from Centauri Earth they are, and they feel that the population needs to go back onto Fidus for their own safety and sanity.
Every morning, Amy comes down to the cryo chamber and watches her parents, remembering Earth. Her days are filled with time and regret, and she needs something to fill her days. As she leaves, she passes Orion in his cryo unit. Why now? Why did he wait until now to kill people in cryo when he knew they were so long away from landing? Back in her room, Doc visits her, concerned for her safety. She hasn't gone out much since the assault, and when she does, she wraps her bright red hair in a scarf, but that can only do so much to protect her. Doc gives her a bracelet comlink he found in the recorder hall, seemingly made for her by Orion. Inscribed on it is a message: abandon all hope. It's not the typical message you would
It's not a
gift onto jewellery.
It's not a good one.
No, not at all. I mean, is it a message or is it a warning?
Who's to say? It's bad all around.
It is. In the recorder hall, she finds Dante's Inferno and inside a floppy-like computer. However, across the wall screens in the hall, a message scrolls across: lead yourself. Someone in the crowd blames the freak, Amy, and she ducks into the literature room to hide when Victoria bursts in to hide too, followed by Luther, the man who tried to assault her. We hate him. We hate him.
Luther. He's the worst.
Escaping by slamming a book across his head. See, books are good.
Yes, they're good weapons.
Exactly. Amy and Victoria run with Luther shouting behind them that they don't have a leader, so they can do anything they want.
Fucking yikes, man.
It's all gone a bit Lord of the Flies.
Ugh, it's terrible. Ugh,
It is.
I hate Luther, but I'm glad he got bashed in the head with a book. I hope it was a big one.
Thick book. Yeah.
Elder tells Amy about the engines, and they discuss food shortages. The population being off Fidus is affecting production. They begin to argue, and Elder calls her a freak. He also doesn't understand why she doesn't just move in with him for safety. Yes, safety.
I raise a skeptical eyebrow.
That's what he wants, after staring at her frozen bosoms for a long time. Safety.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Amy doesn't know what their relationship is, but what she does know is that love without choice isn't love at all. Later, Amy is watching a video of Orion where he says he wanted to work with Elder to overthrow Eldest's tyranny. And Eldest wasn't happy about it, but has Amy as his contingency plan. He's left clues for her to follow.
Elder notes everyone is missing hope. His friend Barty has turned on him, looking up records of revolution in the recorder hall. Barty doesn't think Elder is doing enough and had to change leadership as needed. Stunned, Elder leaves when Doc calms him, telling him a girl has been found catatonic from depression and that the numbers of mental illness are increasing. Doc has developed green Fidus med patches to tackle the problem, and he's also made a stockpile of black patches for a quick death.
Amy is in Harley's room looking for the picture Orion delivered to her from him. Victoria walks in on her and absolutely blows up at her for intruding in Harley's private space. As Amy steps back, she knocks over a pile of sketches, some of which are of Orion. Later, Amy finds a memory card stuck to the back of the painting with a clue about following down the rabbit hole. When Amy shows Elder the recording, he suggests looking for a painting Harley did. Amy also shows Elder the video from Dante's Inferno. On it, the camera shows Elder opening Amy's cryo unit, reacting to a noise, and running off. Orion then comes on screen, pushes her back, hesitates, then opens her unit again before walking away. It was Orion. The screen cuts to static before Orion addresses Amy. Are you ready to find the truth?
Amy thinks she knows the answer to the next riddle, and it's in the recorder hall. On the way there, they see a body of a girl sprawled dead in the field, showing signs of assault. Elder stays and Amy runs fast and furious to the recorder hall and finds the book from Orion's next clue, Alice in Wonderland. As she stares at the Cheshire Cat, all her emotions and fears come crashing down, and that's how Elder finds her. He doesn't question why she's crying, assuming it's about the body, so instead they discuss the next clue. The book was a dead end, but then Elder told Amy that Harley made a painting that Orion insisted he name Through the Looking Glass. It's not on the wall with the plaque, so they go to ask Harley's parents.
As they walk the ship, Amy notices all the people. She's not used to seeing so many, and they aren't working. Elder questions some of the feeders who report that the other feeders aren't coming in. They don't say anything about it because it's not their place. They continue on to Harley's parents, who are at home but in a deep depression. After a quick search, Amy and Elder find the painting. It shows 5 figures looking down at a pond, and in it is Harley's girlfriend, Kaylee. This is a picture of her death. There's another clue on the back, a door code and a mem card. On the video, Orion tells Amy that Kaylee was killed by Eldest because she found the armory, and Eldest wasn't happy. She needs to see it for herself and judge what should be a reasonable amount for a peaceful mission, but first, she needs to go home.
Stevie, Harley's dad, confronts Elder and punches him. Elder uses his comm device to make a high-pitched noise to make him stop. This draws attention and accusations fly and tension mounts. Elder tells Amy to go back to the hospital, and when she spots Luther in the crowd, she flees. And Barty is working people up, which is made worse by the food distribution problems. Suddenly, there is a disturbance at the back. Stevie has collapsed and is dead.
Oh my God.
Doc arrives and examines the body. He finds the small patches he developed for mental health patients, and scribbled on them is "Follow the leader." Stevie has OD'd from the med patches, and Barty accuses Elder of doing it as punishment. The cry is picked up by Luther.
Look, do they not know Elder?
Apparently not.
Because he would never do that. Never. No. Never.
It's a frustration which I think we'll be discussing.
I think so too. Amy ran to the recorder hall looking for an atlas or globe of Earth, her home, which is what Orion's clue told her to find. Inside the hall, Elder contacts her and tells her to get to her room for safety, but instead, Amy goes to her parents. As she sits there, Amy hears the sound of the elevator. It's Victoria, and she walks straight into the restricted lab. Elder gave her access. Amy walks away to visit her parents, where she finds a piece of paper hidden with names and numbers on it.
Murray has been trying to fix the navigation computer on the bridge. So far, no luck. Murray asks again that Elder put the people back on the controlling drug Fidus because it will bring order and stop the violence. The next morning, Amy goes to Elder's room and shows him the note. Together they go down to the cryo chamber and find the armory Orion mentioned in his recording. There are so many weapons.
There's a frightening amount of weapons in this armory.
It sounds very scary. And Elder thinks it's extreme, but Amy counters his arguments, though warily. I mean, to be fair, she is an army brat, so yeah. Next to some high-yield explosives, Amy finds Orion's next clue in a voice recording. He asks Amy to consider hard why they have so many weapons. Then it cuts to recordings of Orion at around age 20. He's found something that Eldest, who was not happy, would have him replaced for. As the recordings go on, Orion becomes more paranoid and concerned. Elder dismisses Orion's clues as a waste of time because he needs to know how to fix the ship, and the clues aren't providing the answers. Elder receives a comms, and he runs off to deal with Barty. Amy watches the videos again. The answers are outside the ship. She just needs to get there.
Oh.
Hold your breath, love. No,
not gonna work. Not gonna work.
No.
Not gonna work. Barty has started a petition for new leadership. People are being reported dead from drug overdoses, and Doc has reported theft of the Fidus med patches from his office. Barty is accusing Elder of their creation and distribution. I fucking hate Barty. In the hospital, Amy sees people begging for Fidus med patches. She asks Doc's assistant for one, and reluctantly, Kit passes her one, figuring she's depressed, about being a freak. But really, Amy thinks this is her best defense against Luther. She grips it tightly as she heads into the recorder hall, looking for Orion's next clue. There's a gathering of people, and they are talking rebellion. Amy tries to defend Elder, but don't listen to the freak. God, she's such a freak. Don't listen to her. A short time later, Amy finds Victoria crying. She's crying for Orion when Luther walks in. As Luther grabs Amy, she slaps him hard across the face. He's a big man, so it wouldn't go down, but her slap has the added effect from the med patch she palmed. Thank God. Knocked that son of a bitch out. Victoria is shocked. Gripping her stomach, she whispers it was him. During the season, because he couldn't get Amy, Luther violated Victoria instead. They both turn to the immobile Luther, and Victoria kicks the absolute shit out of him. Amy leans down and tells him she can access a gun. She's a crack shot taught by her father, and she's killed an elk, so she knows what it's like to take a life. She won't hesitate to do that to Luther.
Get the gun.
Go and get it. Shoot him.
Get the high-heeled explosive, stick it in his mouth and shove him outside.
Explode him.
The next morning, Amy calms Elder and tells him to get into the cryo chamber. They're going hunting for spacesuits. And they do. It takes a few goes with the code clues, but the door swishes open and reveals the suits and a user manual, as well as a copy of The Little Prince. When Amy looks up from the manual, Elder is mostly undressed, ready to suit up and resigned. Amy helps him. Bless him, he's very excited.
Yes, he is. Oh my gosh. And you know, Amy's a little bit excited too, in that he's mostly naked. It's fine.
And he never missed ab day.
No, he probably didn't. He's probably pretty buff. Elder is outside the ship, marveling that just moments ago he was inside it. A beeping alarm starts, and he realizes he can't breathe properly.
Oh no.
His oxygen is low. Then he sees the secret Orion alluded to. How could this have been kept a secret? It's a planet. It's a whole big, huge fucking planet right outside the window.
That's not hard to miss if you look.
By the time Elder is able to make it back on Godspeed, he's, passed out from lack of oxygen. He wakes up in the med bay after Amy called Doc and started to perform CPR. As Elder is being chastised by Doc for going outside, he receives a comm. Murray is dead. God, everyone keeps dying. Stop it.
It's not gonna stop anytime soon.
Ugh.
Maria's body has been placed on the bridge. Elder makes Shelby first shipper and tells her he went outside Godspeed. He then commands the window seals to open to show Shelby the planet. They question how long they have been in orbit, and who knew? But regardless, it's time to carry out the necessary tests to check that Centauri Earth can support life and make preparations to land.
In the hospital.
Ooh.
Oh, I know, it's huge. It was huge. In the hospital, no food has been delivered, and instead of bothering Elder about it, Amy goes to find the hidden stairs where Orion made his recordings. She finds them behind a wall next to a transport tube only Elder has access to that runs the full height of Godspeed. Forgotten. Elder finds Amy a little later on, sitting next to a pond. They talk a little and share a kiss that starts to get heated when Elder receives an urgent comm. Barty is causing trouble again, and then Luther turns up. Elder finally picks up on the bitterness Amy has for Luther and asks what happened, but Amy thinks too much time has passed and holds her tongue. No, it's been...
No.
It doesn't matter how much time has passed. It's only been 3 months, but it doesn't matter how long.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long.
Yeah. 3 months, 3 years, 3 decades, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So even though she doesn't tell him about this, she isn't afraid to tell Elder how Luther has mistreated Victoria. After Amy is finished, Elder is quiet, gets up, thanks Amy for telling him, and walks away. He's on his way to deal with Luther when Doc calms him. Barty's revolution has started. Fucking Barty, man.
Name. That's a rubbish name for a revolution.
Barty's revolution.
It sounds like some kind of diner.
It does. It really does.
They do those like milkshake cocktails with the plastic ice cubes with the lights that flash inside.
Yep. I mean, I would have a Barty revolution if I was offered one.
Darn tootin'.
Darn tootin'.
I really want one of those. Darn tootin'. I really want one of those. Do you know, side note, I had one of those cocktail type things in the drive-in movie diner in Walt Disney World, and every time I think about them, I get wrong for swearing. So I just can't swear when I think about them.
Darn tootin' you can't.
Darn tootin'. All I did was say hell yeah, and she was like, I was like, heck yeah, I'm sorry. God, sensibilities. Fuck that shit.
My pearls.
Oh. As she skated away on her rollerblade. Anywho, the food distributor is dead, covered in med patches.
Oh my God.
Barty is standing in front of a crowd, using the murder to his own benefit to turn the people against Elder. Elder and Barty, they have a verbal spar, alternating between shouting and using the Y cobs until Barty opens the food storage doors and the looting begins and quickly turns violent.
Nice.
Elder calms Amy to get her to her room for safety, but instead, shocking no one, she goes down to the cryo chamber to be with her parents.
I am so shocked.
I can tell that is your shocked face. You're like, whoa. She pulls their units out and thinks, why not? They'll be landing soon anyway. Why not wake them now? Because it's a terrible idea, that's why. Don't do it.
It's a terrible idea. Don't. Just stop it. Stop it. In an effort to calm the riot, Elder orders a shipper to start the strongest rain they can and cover the solar lamp. Can just imagine him like flicking the lights on and off. Stop it. You stop it.
This isn't a rave. Stop it with the lights.
So that works, and it shocks the people into stopping their riot. Elder then does an all-call and orders everyone to the keeper level that night and disables the comm system. Shelby confirms that initial scans show the planet will be fine to land on, but the equipment for deep-level scans and communication back to Sol Earth is missing. Regardless, they're going to land Godspeed.
Back in the cryo chamber, Amy pulls her parents back in, thinking she's going to see them soon. So
Yeah. Don't unfreeze them now. Just wait.
Exactly. Instead of going back to her room or exploring the hidden stairs, she goes to the hatch, wondering if she'll be able to see the planet from there. When she gets there, however, Amy finds a body, crumpled on the ground. It's Luther.
Hooray.
She can't calm anyone, calms her down, and can tell by the smell he's been there for a little while. And he's covered in med patches.
Oh.
Amy types in the code, and Luther's body flies out into space.
Fantastic.
Bye, Luther. Not gonna miss you.
Nope, not even a little bit, ma'am. It's time for Elder's meeting. He's put on Eldest's ceremonial robe, which is a bad idea. And Elder wouldn't be happy about it. I mean, Eldest wouldn't be happy about it. Damn, Eldest would not be happy about it. So he's got this giant robe on. And Barty punches him in the face before he can get a word out. How dare you? How dare you put on his cloak? You're no Eldest. Face punch.
Plus, the cloak is a bit ostentatious.
It is. It's really big, and it's really not attractive. After a few moments of fighting, Elder runs and shouts for everyone to follow. He takes everyone through the engine room and onto the bridge, opens the window, and lets them see Centauri Earth. After the windows close, Barty asks who will lead them once they are colonists. Elder tells him he will, though he doesn't sound so sure. Barty challenges, asking why someone so young should be in charge. There are better candidates. Really? Who, Barty? You, because you're a shithead.
Amy hears a noise from the lab. It's Victoria, looking at Orion in his unit, sobbing. She's struggling with the idea of landfall and starts to have a panic attack. As Amy helps her put a med patch on to calm her down, she realises that she's known the outside world, and people like Victoria haven't. They're comfortable with the walls. Amy helps Victoria back to her room at the hospital, where there are crowds of people with Doc and his assistants slapping med patches on. Doc is muttering about Elder showing them the planet and scaring them, of him not thinking through the consequences of his actions.
What do you expect him to do? He just found out about this. He's got to share it with everyone. He's not going to keep lying.
He's a very transparent Elder.
He really is. The next day, while Elder excitedly gets ready for landfall, Amy goes to visit her parents.
Shock.
While in the cryo chamber, she hears another noise in the armory but doesn't find anyone. But she does find another floppy.
Ghosts.
Oh, ghost in space. Space horror. It's a message from Orion, recorded on what looks like the bridge. He asks Amy if the planet is worth it. Orion pleads with Amy that if there is any way to stop the planet landing, then she needs to do so. He's left another clue in Godspeed. Then the floppy cuts off and the words "Follow the leader" scroll over the screen. On instinct, Amy checks the armory again and notices an empty shelf of explosives. If anyone tries to land the ship, it's gonna blow up.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh,
Not good.
no, not good.
There is a crowd of people outside the bridge as Elder gets there. Shelby opens the bridge doors and an expectant silence falls. Elder gives a thankfully short and awkward speech, after which he is told Amy is there and wants to speak to him. Suddenly, there is a loud noise and the ship is ripped apart.
God.
People go flying. Elder slides along the floor and a screwdriver embeds into his leg. People are being sucked out into the vacuum of space. Shelby is just about holding on and pleading with Elder, whose hand is next to the blast doors. She's begging him. But he can't risk the whole ship for one person, and he closes the blast doors. Shelby is lost to space.
Oh, no.
Devastating scene. It's
Bad.
devastating.
It's bad. Do you know what I learned, though? The vacuum of space, that isn't really real. You don't get violently sucked out. It would be like us going... It's not violent.
But that's not interesting.
No, it's not.
Or dramatically,
No, no, it's not at all. It makes for much better storytelling. Also, they're going to die anyway, even if it's not a vacuum and violent sucking. If it's gentle sucking, you still die.
I think we've gone to a different corner of the internet again.
I think we might have. It involves sexy mouth tubes.
That's so hot right now.
So hot right now. Amy hears the explosion, and it's chaos outside the engine room. And then, deadly silence as people listen. The blast doors are sealed, everyone speculating if anyone survived. Suddenly, there's a banging, and the blast doors open. Elder and a few others limp out, Elder coming straight for Amy and holding her. He wants to know how she knew, so she explains about following Orion's clues, but someone else is getting to them before her. Someone stole the explosives and took away the decision to make landfall that Orion was giving to her. Elder looks back at the exploded bridge. Without it, Godspeed cannot land. He wants to know who thought Shelby's life was worth it.
Amy takes Elder to the hidden stairs, where they hear another boom, and Godspeed shakes. Not as violently as before, but a definite explosion. It's the cryo units.
Damn it.
Amy races down where Elder takes care of the ship. As Amy flies two at a time down the stairs, the smoke and heat get thicker, and there is only a hole. The shrapnel from the explosion has ripped through the stairwell. She can't get down. Hurrying back to the way she came, Amy finds Elder and lets him know there is no way down. It's all falling apart.
That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
The hospital isn't safe, so the recorder hall becomes a makeshift infirmary. Elder sends an all-call, telling everyone to come to the hospital gardens. As he's on the way, Barty demands to know what Elder is going to say. Elder calls Barty out and points out that he was the one who had to look people in the eye and let them die, while Barty did nothing. Barty tries to give Elder an apology, but it's very well disguised as derision. They reach the gardens, and everyone is there. Elder tells them the truth, that they can't land the ship. He tried to be an honest leader, but with the deaths in his name and the explosions, it's too much, and he will step down if someone else can do a better job. No one speaks. Not even Barty. Yeah, they're like, oh shit, no. It sucks to be the leader, man. You keep being responsible for everyone's deaths. No one wants to do that.
Nope.
No, thank you.
A little while later, Amy and Elder are together. Amy can see that Elder has given up all hope. She, however, has one more clue to follow. Orion said that was something in Godspeed, not on it. She takes Elder to the recorder hall. They bring up blueprints of the ship and take down the dusty model of Godspeed from its hanging. Amy hands it to Elder, who crushes the bridge window, saying it's accurate now. That's so harsh.
It is. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah. Amy points to more glass there, which Elder dismisses as an observatory he saw when he was outside. But this doesn't make sense to Amy. Why lock an observatory? Why? On the blueprint, it's marked as contingency. Picking up the model again, Amy pulls at that section, and a replica shuttle comes out that contains the cryo chamber. Elder is dumbfounded. There's a shuttle.
Whoa. I know. Amy pulls Elder to the pond. The pond with no fish, but surely it would have had fish at some point, given how Harley included them in all his pictures. It's then Elder realizes that Harley's girlfriend's death really was a murder. She knew there was something under the pond, and that if it was drained, they could access it. Eldest wasn't happy.
No.
And he killed her to keep that secret. Amy strips down and dives until Barty and Victoria come along. They explain to them why they need to drain the pond, so Barty shows them the pump. Once it's drained, the foursome climb down. At the bottom of the ladder is a smaller bridge and another floppy. Orion's recording tells Amy that the planet wasn't a secret. It's what is contained on the papers he is holding that is the secret. Papers next to the floppy.
The records document the arrival to Centauri Earth 240 days ahead of schedule, and the initial scans found life on the planet. The decision was made to remain in orbit and assess the habitability of the planet. However, this caused violent revolt and the creation of FIDUS to make the people obedient enough to remain in orbit. Orion says that the weapons won't help. All the probes that have been sent to the planet say so, and that the Frozens likely won't be the ones wielding them. It'll be those on Godspeed sent out to die. Orion says that only if Godspeed fails should they consider going down to the planet. Yikes.
Yikes. 1,000 times yikes. Victoria seems joyful at the prospect of staying on the ship. Elder wants to take their time and assess, and Amy is mad. She blames the original eldest for his narcissistic gluttony to stay in power. She will get to the planet. Barty says they need a vote, but they have no food on the ship. And then there's another boom in the distance. When they investigate, they find Doc in the lab, opening Orion's cryotube. Doc tells them they need a leader, a real leader. As Amy turns to look at the others, Victoria pulls a gun. Doc gave it to her. She wants Orion back. As she moves to stand next to Doc, Amy notices the patches on Elder and Barty's necks. Damn it, Victoria, come on!
Doc tells Victoria she can shoot Amy if she wants, as he's giving his bad guy monologue.
Damn it, Doc!
This all floats around Elder, who is in a fog from the drugs. Doc orders Elder to put the wires in his pocket back into the Fidus machine. Amy tries to get through to Elder, but it's no good. Doc tells her he gave Elder 3 months to be a leader, and he failed. 3 months!
3 months.
Seriously,
That's all
dude.
you
What
have.
can you do in 3
That's
months?
all you have, 3 months.
And Barty tried to start a revolution, but was weak. Doc was the one who used the patches and tried to get Murray on his side, but no. All the way, Doc has messed with Orion's clues. He didn't want her to make the decision. He will wake Orion up and get a proper leader installed. When Victoria is distracted by Doc starting the process to wake Orion, Amy slaps a patch on her and grabs her gun, but Doc pulls his own gun.
Damn it.
Amy pulls the trigger and shoots Doc in the leg, then slams a patch on him. There's another shot, from Doc's gun this time, as he falls to the floor. Amy's arm is grazed, but Victoria is shot in the chest.
Damn. Damn. Amy calls for help, and Kit, Doc's assistant, comes down. Amy tells her to leave the patch on Doc, while Elder and Barty are roused with a yellow antidote patch. Barty and Elder take Victoria's body to the hatch, and when they return, Amy begs Elder to refreeze Orion, but he can't do it. Instead, he slows the process down. When they get back to the feeder level, there's a crowd of people. Barty has told them about the second bridge. An unknown voice shouts, "Do we have to go?" while others look excited. Elder makes an all-call to gather everyone around the pond.
Elder tells them about the shuttle, the uncertainty on the planet, and how Godspeed is not made to last and it will be dangerous. He then opens the floor for Barty to speak, who says he will stay behind on Godspeed. Elder confirms that there is a possibility that Godspeed can support them for a couple of generations at least, maybe longer. After the meeting, Amy is mad. There was warnings to stay, and Elder agreeing to it. No, she's not happy. She's disgusted that at the end they would kill themselves with Doc's black patches when Godspeed can no longer sustain them rather than come to the planet. Elder won't make them come as he has to consider other opinions than hers. Around 1/3 of the ship wants to stay, which is a lot of opinions to consider. Amy sees Godspeed as a cage. They see it as a home.
Elder will leave the ship, but he's apprehensive. As Amy waxes lyrical about birds and trees and oceans, Elder thinks about the armory and the uncertainty of landing. The Earth she knows isn't the Earth they're going to. Elder tells her that Orion will be coming with them. However, Doc will stay on Godspeed. Elder and Barty discussed it, and they felt that they should probably be separated. Amy doesn't see the fairness and tells Elder nothing can be the same between them now because of it. Come on, Amy, get over yourself. Amy doesn't believe Orion should be allowed to go to the new planet, even though Elder's intention is to have the Frozens judge him for his crimes. That seems like the ultimate unfairness to me.
Take him to the planet he didn't want to go to? Yeah, I think that's fair.
And then have him judged.
And probably fed to a native species of bitey animal. Amy is the first to the shuttle. Elder is last. The people who are coming are a mixture of nerves, excitement, resentment, and fear. Elder's hand rests over the autopilot. Button. Ready? End of book 2.
End of book 2. Oh my yikes.
Which is a huge cliffhanger.
Huge cliffhanger. Huge. We gotta have a miniature cliffhanger right now.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Please remember that Fictional Hangover is a free podcast and always will be. If you'd like to support the show, stop listening to us for just a few minutes. Become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover, then come back. If you can't do this monthly but still want to support us because you just like the show so much, head over to Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/fictionalhangover to drop us a one-time tip. Your support on Patreon and Ko-fi will help us bring you more spoiler-filled discussions, book character cosplays, and ridiculous content you know and love. Now, back to the episode.
I've just got this image of like this miniature cliffhanger. It's us just standing on this tiny little 1 foot drop and going, ready, let's go. Thelma and Louise jumping style over.
Yes, I would love that. If someone could illustrate that, I would really appreciate it. Please draw me and Claire jumping off a tiny cliff. Needs to happen. It needs to happen. Anyway, yeah.
Wow. So much death in this book.
So much.
It's quite heavy. Again, this series of book is not sweetness and light. You're not going to get the warm fuzzy feeling out of it.
No, you might get a little bit from Amy and Elder, but that's not the point.
No, it is a sci thing at the very least. But it's good sci-fi.
It is
and
good
that's
sci-fi. Oh. Whew. Spice.
It's interesting, I think, as well, because you have that similarity. It's interesting to me because you can picture yourself as Amy and having the familiarity of Earth and seeing things that are around. Like, when, for example, from the first one, when she's walking around and everything looks kind of right. She sees hills, she sees grass, she sees animals in the distance. But then when she gets a bit closer, she's like, what the hell is this? It's like a Monet painting. From a distance, it's fine, but it's a hot mess when you look closely at it. And that's what good sci-fi for me does. If you're from a distance, it looks fine, but the closer you get, it's a hot mess because it's so vastly different. So it looks fine, it looks all familiar, everything looks the same, but then you get a bit closer and the technology is just that slightly different where it feels odd. People's accents are just slightly different where they feel odd, and you have just those minor changes that makes it into the science fiction element. And it's uncomfortable because you can't understand the familiarity and the change. There is a word for that, and I can't remember what it is.
I bet it's a good word.
It is. It's probably a German word as well.
Probably.
I will have to text my German friend and ask.
Yeah.
So how did you think this one progressed the story?
I mean,
how do you think it went?
I really feel like it makes perfect sense because these people have been living on this ship the same way for generations and generations and generations, and then all of a sudden everything changes. And it's not going to be good. You can't immediately change everyone's life so vastly and expect it to go well. So taking them off Fidus, cold turkey,
Yeah.
bad idea.
Yeah. A lot of it can be laid, I think, on the fact that Elder is 16. And I know we've said this a few times where they're only kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're kids. And even though Elder is 16, if Elder was trained better by the very unhappy eldest,
Mm-hmm.
he may be more, and I'll say this in air quotes, effectual leader,
Mm-hmm.
because he has more knowledge and training and, kind of circumstance and experience to put in there. He might have already started taking over some of the leadership on Godspeed.
Mm-hmm.
So he would be more, quote unquote, effective. But at the moment, he's a 16-year-old kid who's being thrust into the middle of things and doesn't know how to react. And as somebody more mature than a 16-year-old and having life experience, I don't know about you, but I was thinking, well, I'm sorry, but right now you need to cut out the effective dictatorship and you need to form a council.
Yeah.
You need to have a shipper, a feeder, somebody from the hospital like Doc or even Kit. You need to have, representative from every single place, and then, the overall kind of like the presidential prime minister type figure.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a council.
Yeah.
That needs to take place. There needs to be representation.
Yeah.
And then they're the ones who would come off Fidus first, and it needs to be a gradual thing as people come off and lessen it, not cold turkey.
Yeah.
But again, that's somebody who is not 16, trapped on a ship,
Right.
with dire circumstances.
And I mean, he thinks he's doing what's best. Like, these guys have been drugged their entire life. Let's get rid of that. That's not good. And it's right. He's right. It's not good.
He is.
Ugh, you have to make gradual changes. Baby steps.
Changes, exactly. Because look at the panic it caused. The entirety of the ship stopped. There was no food production. There was nothing. And, and I'm not saying that the feeders would be the last to be taken off Fidus by any means, but it would have to be a gradual thing. And if you think of like Stella from the first book, or Stella, sorry, from the first book, the older lady who got recycled. That's so shocking. She had her wits about her. She knew what was going on because the Fidus had stopped working. So in effect, the elders of the population were the ones who, in theory, could come off first because it's not as effective with them anymore. So they might be the best candidates for it to be weaned off first, and that's across the whole hierarchy.
Yeah.
But again, that's down to his inexperience, not really thinking about it. And Doc is not going to be a person who's going to advocate to take people off Fidus. He's quite happy to have them on Fidus because he lets the drug out.
Yeah, and then he makes these patches like, oh, I'm just making them just in case. Here, Victoria, go stick these on everyone when no one's looking.
Oh, I've just dropped all of these patches on the ground and I can't bend over to pick them. I have my hands full with this cup of cow pig milk.
Cow pig milk? Gross.
I don't know.
Gross.
Moose-squee milk. Moose-squee milk. Oh my god.
What?
Barty's Revolution, or Barty's Rebellion's milkshakes with the ice creams. The light up ice cubes. The moose squeaks.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I want a moose squeak milkshake now.
Me too. Do you know what I really, really, really enjoyed? And it happens like in the very beginning of the book.
Oh, I was going to say Luther being killed.
No. I mean, yes, that
no.
too, but later on.
What?
You know how they realized they were actually stopped? They weren't moving. And they were like, but that's not how science works. An object in motion is going to stay in motion. So they realized that clearly something important has happened here, because even if the engines stopped working, they would just keep flying indefinitely. It would have been fine. But I really like that they knew that. And then they were like, so we shouldn't technically be stopped? We don't really know what's going on. Like, why are we stopped? Oh, it's because you already arrived. You're already at the planet, and you've been there for a very long time.
Yeah, nobody was alive when they heard the GPS go, you have reached your destination.
Yeah. But I really, really, really liked that little science fact was included. Like, you're not... Even if the ship had stopped, like the engine had stopped working, halfway through, they would have just kept going. There's nothing out there to stop them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like that.
Which is, again, what helps make good sci-fi, when it has that element of realism in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good that the shippers were actually educated in their area, rather than seemingly ignorant, because the feeders don't know anything other than what their task is.
Right. But I have a question. They're stopped. They've been stopped for a long time. Don't you think that everyone's bodies that have come out of the hatch would just be floating right out there, right in front of the hatch?
Well, Godspeed would be in orbit. So yes and no, because Godspeed will still orbit around the planet, and the bodies will still float around the planet. So there's always a chance that Godspeed could actually just bash into the bodies.
Just come back around.
Yeah, as it comes back around, but more likely the bodies are actually being drawn through the gravitational pull of the planet.
Do you think so? Do you think that they're close enough to the planet for that to happen? Because then wouldn't Godspeed be affected by the gravitational pull and be being pulled down?
It depends on them. I think there's some mass relation to do with that.
Look, I really just want there to be
But yeah, essentially they're just floating out there.
Floating around.
They're just floating out there. That's it. Every now and again, Godspeed bashing into them.
Luther's got to be pretty close. Like, how long is a year on Centauri Earth?
How long's a year on... No idea. I'd imagine fairly close to an Earth year. Not precise.
But also there's 2 suns, and like how does that affect the rotation and revolution of the planet? I think we're thinking too much into it.
I think we are, but I think it also depends on the distance of the suns.
Yeah.
Because one of the suns, I would imagine, would be the primary sun that forces the gravitational fields within the galaxy, and the second sun, which is probably just a larger, just a larger star further away, then has that mini galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
Rotating around that. I'm trying honestly to remember all the science programs that I've watched.
Yeah. I just
about it all, but I don't know.
I just really feel like that Luther and Victoria, they were just released, so they got to be close by.
And Harley will bump into them as well, and Eldest. And Eldest is not going to be happy about bumping into people.
Eldest is not going to be happy, but he was calmed to death, so he might be pleased to see people.
He's still going to be a grumpy bastard.
Yeah, he is. He is. Okay, I know that this happened in the first one, but I really feel like, he got the, Fidus liquid dumped on him, and I really just want to imagine his body, his skin melting away like the Nazis in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes. I kind of also got a little bit of Joker / Two-Face from the Batman movies. Kind of that, the way that the smile.
Yeah.
Was it the Jack Nicholson version, and the rubbery smile across the face.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I always had in mind with him. It's just this plastered there permanently.
Nightmare.
I found it a little difficult in this one, though, that pretty much everybody was a jerk.
Everyone was terrible in this one. Yeah, you're right.
I really struggled to have some sympathy and empathy for people. Like, Amy constantly seemed to have expectations of Elder being at her beck and call.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he wasn't, and he's like, yeah, I had to go and deal with that dead body we found in the field. Yeah, I've got a rebellion and no food. I've got to go and deal with that.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, shit, yeah, you're right. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, but
It's
I
like-
need you to help me follow these clues. And he's like, dude, I don't have time for the clues right now. People are literally looting and stealing all the food. I don't
Yeah,
have time for that.
no. And I think Elder's got expectations of his relationship with Amy that is not there. You know, when she said that it's not love if you've got no choice.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, but I love you. And in that kind of like teenage, in a squeaky teenage voice.
Yeah.
You know, he's just, you know, his voice is breaking. That's kind of the image I've got. He suddenly just regresses to age 12 for this. Like, I love you. Come, will you move in with me? I'll pick up my socks. He won't. And it's like, dude, this is awkward. Can you just give us some space? You've known her for 3 months. You've been perving on her boobs for longer, but you've only known her for 3 months.
Right. 3 months is not a long amount of time for any of this to be okay. Any of it. Anything that happens. Like, it's a very short amount of time. And a lot of chaos happens in that short amount of time.
Bloody Doc. Oh, you've got 3 months to be an effective leader. Otherwise
Yeah,
I'm gonna steal
that's
you
all
with
you
a coup.
need. That's all you need, 16-year-old child who wasn't really taught how to lead people. You just need 3 months. That's all you get.
What a dick.
I know, he's such an ass.
I kind of wait. It was like from the first one, so I'm glad we're doing the trilogy straight off each other because we can refer back.
Yeah.
And if any of this conversation is confusing any of the listeners, we'll go and listen to the Across the University
Yeah.
episode and come back.
Definitely.
Because it's all very relevant. Like we said at the beginning of the episode, it feels like it's parts of one big story rather than individual books. And I don't know about you, but in the first one, I just kept expecting Doc to do something he shouldn't. And because, I mean, it's like, you know, when he recycled the old lady, and he's just so quick to slap drugs into people, and I didn't particularly like him as a character in the first one. And I was suspicious all the way through him in this one, with no reason at all. I got a vibe.
Yeah.
And then when it turned out he was completely dodgy, I was like, right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's terrible.
Further disappointment. Because at least in the first one, it's somewhat explainable, not excusable,
Right.
that he's just following grumpy eldest's mandates.
Yeah.
But in this one, he's not. He's doing everything of his own free will.
Yeah. Do you know what I wish? I wish that Orion would have just said, hey guys, planet's not good. Don't go there. P.S. You've already arrived at the planet. Not sending them on this wild goose chase of finding clues.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of finding the clues? You know, maybe I get it. Like, you've hidden this message, and you don't want someone to find it and know exactly, you know, your whole plan, because obviously someone could find it, and obviously someone did. Doc found all these messages, but dude, couldn't you have just told them?
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah.
put it in a couple of clues and not strewn up all about the ship
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah. The treasure hunt kind of lost me a little bit. It was probably the least enjoyable thing of the book for me. Because I understand keeping how to get into the armory, how to access the spacesuits, how to access the bridge, and the truth separate. But it was too dominant.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the entire storyline for Amy, effectively. But yeah, you're right. Just kind of like, guys, we're at the planet. There's bad stuff going on down there. There's life. And we've been there for a while. You need to know the truth.
Yeah. Like, It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good down there. And that's why we're still here.
And I think I probably would have liked some kind of discussion with Elder and Barty at that point. Like, you know, I was quite happy that Barty saw what went on.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been quite nice to have had a little bit of them actually working cooperatively.
I really just wish that Barty would have apologized. Because, and not a derision apology, because he ruined a bunch of stuff. And when we find out that, well, you know, it's not super safe down there, and, you know, the ship can sustain us, but not for that long. You know why? Because you destroyed all the food, Barty. Everything that you did, like, ruined everyone's lives. It wasn't just a thing to get back at Elder. Like,
yeah, it was almost like it came out of nowhere. Barty suddenly rebelling against Elder and the Elder system, and I understand, I get it, but how you're friends?
yeah,
You know, you hung out with each other. You were best mates in this group. If anybody can talk to Elder and say, listen, we need to make some effective changes, you remain Elder as the main leader, but you need help. This is brand new territory. You need help. Let me help. And then Barty probably could have been like the feeder representative.
yeah.
And
they could
help
have
keep everybody on track.
And they could have created their council if it had been, hey, do you need help? Not, you're the worst and I'm taking over.
Yeah. He obviously didn't get that far into... He's gone past a D in the alphabet in the recorder hall for democracy and gone straight to R for revolution and rebellion. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, start properly. Even if you read a friggin' encyclopedia rather than going through the stacks, you're going to hit democracy first. And this is what I don't understand about Barty, how he's completely just gone to the nth degree. And I can understand him not wanting to follow a 16-year-old. In our situations, I don't think either of us would be particularly comfortable with the 16-year-old who has not been trained in the job role properly.
Yeah.
Telling us what to do. And I'd be like, really? But I'm not going to start a rebellion over it.
No.
You know, I'm not going to start a revolution. I would hope for discourse. And the way the Barty turned around and said we're not being led by, there's somebody who's older and wiser than you. Well, yeah, okay, so Elder is the youngest person there. You are of the 20-year-old generation, something like that. If you are this older and wiser person, then act older and wiser. Don't act like an asshat.
But he does. And then everybody dies.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I just don't get it. Ugh. I think one of my favourite scenes was possibly one of the worst scenes in the book.
Oh, which one?
And it was the bridge explosion and when Shelby and the shippers.
That's a very, cinematic scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, it was... You can imagine it being in complete silence as well.
Yep.
Because, there's the vacuum... Not a vacuum, the void of space.
Yeah.
You can't hear anything. You can just imagine if that was done perfectly silently rather than having the usual typical whooshing noise that they have, that would be freaky. That's space horror right there.
Or if not complete silence, just the high-pitched whine of, your ears being burst out because of the explosion, that would also be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I can just imagine Elder pulling the screwdriver out of his leg and army crawling.
The blood being droplets.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it.
Elder gets properly beaten up in this one.
He does. He gets punched in the face a few times. It's not good.
Drugged. Screwdrivered.
Yeah.
Explosions.
Exploded. Yeah, it's...
Lack of oxygen. He's going to have lost a few brain cells out in space.
Yeah. Oh,
That was cute. The way he was so excited about going to
I
spacesuit.
know.
Oh,
Oh,
bless him.
I think that was my favorite scene because it was really short chapters, like
Yes.
barely even a page of it going back and forth between the two of them. And Elder's like super excited and he's put on his spacesuit and he's gone outside. And then it like switches back to Amy and she's looking at him while he's outside. And then she can see him like start to choke because he doesn't have air. Oh, that was good. That was good writing. So good. And then like he's like pulling himself back and he's running out of air and just and then the scene when he gets back inside and Amy rushes over to him and like throws off his helmet and he's not breathing and so she starts doing CPR and then there's just like 2 or 3 paragraphs of just her doing CPR and it's just like push the whole time or pump whatever it is like that's all it was. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, it was so well done. Beth Revis really knows how to do those epic cinematic moments.
Yeah.
Really, really well written.
Yeah.
I know she's done loads, and some big series as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like she's snuck underneath the radar a little bit. Similarly to Bridget Tyler with the Pioneer and the Survivor, that it's like these ladies of sci-fi need to be better known.
Yeah.
Very much so in the UK. It might be different in the US market, but very much over in the UK, I feel like screaming from mountaintops, you need to read these books.
Yeah,
they're so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Do you think Elder saw any floating corpses while he was outside?
You can only hope. He's like, oh shit, that's me. It's gonna be me.
Oh, no. Oh.
No, that's eldest. He looks unhappy.
Oh man. Yeah. I hope he didn't see Harley while he was out there though.
No, I hope he didn't see her. Well, Harley unfortunately would have been 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months ago. So how far away are you with the rotation and revolution of the planet?
Isn't it? Are they pushed out any, or are they just kind of like just the natural?
I mean, it depends on what you believe about the vacuum of space violently sucking you out, or if you just, I mean, you open the hatch. You're not going to last long, and there's no gravity, so you're just going to float. I just feel like,
What momentum have you got?
Yeah. Did he jump out? Harley probably jumped. With any of his last movements, he probably would have jumped.
You do kind of wonder what Harley would have thought on seeing the planet.
Fuck.
'Cause you could have not.
Fuck. Immediately.
Ah, damn. Oh. Wonder if they've got koi as well. Wish I had my paints.
Yeah. Poor Harley. I love Harley. That same interview, I think it was the same interview that I read with this one having a million rewrites. I think they also asked her which character she would most want to kiss, and Harley was her answer.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say Elder. He's 16. It's just not appropriate.
No. Then
even if he's never missed Ab Day.
Right. She also said that Harley was, like, created after one of her students, so that would be really gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Who was your favorite character?
I didn't really have one, because I found most of them to be jerks in this one.
Yeah, me too. I will always love Elder, but he had a lot of shit on his plate in this one, and he was struggling.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the fact that he still kept as many people safe as he possibly could. And that's like his main, that's what he wants to do as elder, as leader. He wants to keep everyone safe. And so I do really appreciate the fact that even though Shelby was there in the explosion and she was really, really close to him, but he knew there was no way to get to her, that he had to shut the doors. And that was so hard for him, but I appreciate the fact that he did it.
That's his kind of like whole deal with being leader, though, was honesty, transparency, integrity.
Yeah.
He is not doing any of this for himself.
No, not at all. He's very selfless.
There's no way he's winning as an individual. He just needs to be a 16-year-old for a little bit as well. But yeah, I'm with you. I like Elder. I do like Elder more after this one because huge character development for him. But yeah, I couldn't select a single person who would stand out.
No.
Anyway, what about surprises? Did you have any surprises in this one?
Kaylee, having previously found out about the hatch in the pond.
Ooh.
Because we know that Kaylee had issues with being trapped on the ship. And we know that she liked swimming with the koi and, swimming around in the pond. And I can only imagine that not many people did do that. Or if they did play in the pond, they were just splashing around on the surface. But she went down deep and saw this hatch and was like, shit, where does this go? So it's surprising to me that she found the hatch and then that eldest wasn't happy about it and killed her.
That's not surprising that he wasn't happy about it.
No, but do you know what I think is surprising about the fact that Kaylee found the hatch and all the fish had gone? Where are the fish? Mm-hmm. Where are the fish corpses? Were they down there at the bottom of the hatch?
Maybe it's all the fish Friday.
Fell down. They ate the fish?
Every Friday on Godspeed is Fishy Friday, where they get fish lots of salt and lots of vinegar. Just ate them all. And a cup of tea afterwards to wash the grease away.
Okay. Is koi a good fish to eat?
I don't know.
What?
I'm gonna Google.
I know.
Can you eat koi? Oh God, there's an entire Reddit about it. Koi are edible. Oh. Folks eat carp. So, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so that maybe they did eat
Thanks,
them all.
Google. Fishy Friday, that's fish fry.
Yeah. But that's my surprise. And that's a big surprise too, because it technically it didn't even happen in this book. It didn't even happen in the last book.
No. How long's Kaylee been dead?
A while.
Yeah. I was surprised how quickly people turned. I know they're off Fidus, but how quickly people turned against the eldest leadership.
Well, that really kind of tells you that it's not a good leadership system.
Yeah. Oh, God, no, I completely agree. I really do. But I'm thinking in particular, Barty, how quickly they turned against them.
Yeah.
And didn't try and talk to his friend. That's the main thing. The fact that Barty never seemed to have tried to talk to his friend.
Yeah.
And offer any support or help or, I think if Hardy would still been alive, he would have been trying to alleviate some of the problems, even if it was just the guide into his Picard and trying to be that support mechanism for Elder.
Yeah.
But Barty, he dropped the ball.
Yeah.
He really dropped the ball. I do have a question on something that surprised me. It sort of links to what yours was with the Kaylee finding the hatch. How did Orion get down there without draining the pond? Because surely they would have realised the pond had been drained.
Maybe it's the same thing with the fish disappearing. Maybe they were able to open it. Maybe it wasn't like a submarine where you have to crank the thing and like pull open a physical door. Maybe it was just like there's something down there that you can twist or turn and it just like spreads it open.
Yeah.
And maybe he was able to get down there that way. Or the hidden staircase.
Hidden staircase. Yeah. Okay. That makes more
But
sense.
I imagine that Kaylee would have had to have opened that hatch. And she didn't go through the staircase.
I don't know if she would have opened the hatch. I wondered if she just knew about the hatch.
But then where did the fish go?
Fishy Friday!
They did not eat the fish, Claire.
I don't know.
Yeah, so...
But I always imagined that Kaylee's body was found with the fish in the pond. Like, you know how the picture that Harley draws of her, the painting through the looking glass.
Do you think all the fish died
she's
too?
Surrounded. Depends how Eldest got rid of her. Maybe the water was poisoned from the Fidus. Killed the fish.
Could have been. That's a good question.
Maybe we need to ask.
Maybe we do. Maybe we can ask that question.
Please explain the fish.
Yes, we're curious.
And what's your favourite fish recipe involving koi?
Is it time? Is it time for Would You Rather?
It's definitely time. It's probably about 15 minutes too late.
It probably is.
Would you rather? We asked on social media, would you rather shout fracks or shite? Because we're so mature.
We are. We're 12-year-old boys on the inside.
And on Facebook, 15% of you are shouting fracks, 85% are shouting shite. On Instagram, it was 28% for fracks and 72% for shite. On Twitter, it's 67% for fracks and 33% for shite. And on TikTok, 100% for shite.
I am really upset at TikTok because I'm pretty sure, even though I got no notification, I'm pretty sure they thought we were like violently cursing and blocked people from seeing the video. Only 5 people saw this one, and we normally get hundreds of views. And also, the noodle selfie that I did of Last One to Die, and then the pictures, scrolling through the pictures, that didn't get any views either. That got like 5 or 6 views. So I'm really curious as to why we're being censored on TikTok.
And in all fairness, it wasn't me saying shite on the pictures for the Would You Rather. It was the bird.
I did notice that.
Bird was being very naughty.
I did notice that. I'm glad that you arranged it in such a way because I'm definitely shouting Frex. I don't want to shout shite. So I'm glad that you made me shout Frex to the bird. That was happening in my picture.
Yeah. I had to use shite because it feels like a very British word.
It does. It does.
Shite.
It does.
Shit. Shite. Shite. Comes so naturally. Let's go to the comments.
Yes, let's do. Let's do.
Colin on Facebook said, I would never use such coarse language when a well-timed bother will do just as well. Nah, just kidding. Shite all the way. It's such a lovely word to say. It makes me feel all warm and loved. Shite. 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 Say it with me.
Shite.
Shite.
Annie on Facebook shouts shite, although I have no notion why. And on Instagram, as Crinoline Lefroy, shite just comes natural to me.
Drew on Facebook said, while not my first choice, shite is a close second.
I wonder what our first choice is. I hope it's good. I hope it's a good word.
Please be the C word. Please be the
Please be the C word. Constance on Facebook tries to think of a relatable song. Shite. You don't know any songs with shite in the lyrics? Come on. There's gotta be at least one, right?
I'll tell you someone who will know them. Real Jackson Fraud on Instagram. And if he doesn't know the songs, he can certainly give you book titles.
That's true, he can. He can.
And he says, shite, it's a perfect swear word. I think he's slightly biased.
I think he is. I really think he is. Although, you know, it's not shite in his book titles. It's definitely shit, but...
Wouldn't it be really good if the British version was released as shite?
It would have been.
The girl who could move shite with her mind.
Can we make an exceptional...
I am the shite storm.
Can we make an exceptionally British version of all of his books? And it's just very posh and everyone's drinking tea with their pinkies up.
Oh, God. And can people wear bowler hats and top hats and, you know, bustle around everywhere?
Yes.
I'm basically going to set it in Victorian England just for the authenticity.
Yep, doing it. Sounds great.
Perfect.
Brie Tart on Instagram said, I like Frex. It has a good oomph to it. And finding out I'm going to die, lost in the vacuum of space, deserves oomph.
That it does, Brie.
That it does. That it does, indeed.
L20 Kev on Instagram says, yay! Finally a question where I can talk about shite, and it's actually relevant to the answer, and I don't have to think of a crafty way as to how I'm going to slip it into every Would You Rather response each week. I pick shite, obviously, because I always go to poop. I never matured from toilet humour as a kid.
Really, neither did we.
Neither did we.
No, not at all. Finally, Steph Inc. Creations on Instagram says, of course, Steph Inc. Creations says, answer C. Both. Frexing shite. That's a good response.
Do you know what? I'm going to let her. Let her in this instance.
Yeah.
We usually deny her option C, but I think we should let her.
Frexing shite is fantastic.
Yeah. It might be on a t-shirt.
It might be Frexing shite. It wouldn't be the first Beth Revis inspired shirt that we made. Although I really can't remember the first one. Like, I know that it was Damn You Boobs. I know that happened during that live where we talked about her short story, but I can't remember what it was about or why.
I can't remember.
Damn you boobs.
I know I curse my boobs all the time.
Yeah, but we did it a lot.
Done it during a live.
We did it a lot in that episode, and yeah. Anyway, everyone visit fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for Damn You Boobs and perhaps a future Frexing shite shirt with bodies floating in space. Or us jumping off a tiny cliff. Either one. If someone draws us jumping off a tiny cliff, we'll put that on a shirt.
It's going on everything. If somebody draws that for us, it's going on everything.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So you said shite earlier, and I said Frex earlier. So we've answered that question, right?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Next question. Would you rather dose Luther with med patches and beat him up, or find him in the hatch and open it?
Oh, answer C. Both. And be the one who puts him in the hatch.
Ooh.
God, I hated Luther so
I know,
much.
he was the worst.
So glad he got it.
He was the worst.
If I have to just go with one, I'm probably going to be find him in the hatch and open it, because then I know he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. But don't you love Amy leaning down and menacingly telling him that she's going to get a gun and shoot him? Don't you love
Yeah.
it?
I adored it. So sinister.
Yeah. I think I'd probably like to release him out to the stars too. And then just see him slowly floating by.
Crashing into Eldest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably just be like, bye, flipping him off.
Yeah. Yeah. God, that guy was the worst. I'm so glad he did not make it to book 3.
Yeah, I'm happy with the resolution of that character.
Yeah. I can't imagine how bad would it have been if he had been in book 3. He would have done some bad stuff.
He really would have. Okay, next question. Would you rather be a keeper, a shipper, a leader, a feeder, or a recorder?
This is a stupid question for me.
It is.
And for you.
It is.
I want to be a recorder.
Yeah. Give me the books.
Yep, give me all the books. I really like how the majority of this one, like, it was all about books. It was all about the recorder hall, which is the library. It was all about the library.
Mm-hmm. All the clues were in there, and it was just so populated with everybody trying to learn everything about anything.
Yeah, and that's where Barty learned about revolutions. And they even, like...
Don't skip straight to revolution.
No, but they even read books out loud. Like, they read quotes, let them eat cake was in this book. So they, I really like that they spent a lot of time in the library, which is why this one is labeled as our book club theme for the month. Because even though it's called the Recorder Hall, it was definitely the library. And, Orion was definitely the librarian. And
well, a library's nothing, if nothing else, it's a centre for knowledge.
Yes.
And that's what the Recorder Hall was.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, are we both recorders?
Yeah.
Okay, if you weren't a recorder...
I do not want to be the leader, by the way.
No.
I do not want to be a leader.
But if you weren't the recorder, and obviously you're not the leader because you just violently opposed to being the leader, what would you pick?
A shipper, possibly?
Me too, I think.
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily engines, but some kind of technical thing might be quite fun.
Yeah.
Like that technical aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might not be opposed to being leader if I'm an adult, not if I'm 16-year-old elder.
No, I don't want to be a 16-year-old leader, and I don't want to be leader by myself. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I do not want to be
a
dictatorship.
Okay, I'll be leader, and you as head shipper / recorder, and I'm also / recorder. We'll gather some more, and we'll lead it, and we'll do a good job.
Yeah.
Just don't start a riot.
No. Oh, I'm far too lazy.
Can I wear the cloak?
Only on Fishy Fridays when we eat all the koi.
I would really like to have that cloak, but I want to put lights in it. I want it to light up.
Yeah.
I want it to be the most obnoxious fucking cloak.
Oh my god! And I kind of had this image of it having like really, like basically feather boa style fluffy feathers all the way around the trim.
Yeah. Almost like
a drag version of something that Henry VIII would wear.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Technicolor Dreamcoat, but with lights.
With stars.
Yeah, that's what I want. Someone make me a Technicolor Dreamcoat, please.
I think honestly, if you just watch RuPaul's Drag Race for like an episode, you'd see the cloak on there somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
And be like, that's
that'll
it.
do.
That is it.
That'll do.
It's it's something that you would imagine like David Bowie doing some Ziggy Stardust kind of thing in it.
David Bowie's the best. Yeah. All right.
Next question.
Would you rather follow Orion's clues or help quell the rebellion on the ship? Last time we asked about following Orion's clues too. Didn't we?
I think
No. I think that was a question that we were planning to pose, and then we just wrote it in a different way. Would you rather follow Orion's clues or follow the leader? Yeah. And figure that out. I think that's what we had originally talked about.
Yeah. I think I would probably quell the rebellion on the ship.
Yeah.
because it would be better to have some sort of stability
Yeah.
and food.
Yeah. And, if you quell the rebellion, then you can go and find his clues.
Exactly.
It's not immediate life or death like the rebellion is. So many people died. So many people died in the riots and the looting. So if you could stop that, then you'd have more time to follow Orion's clues and it wouldn't be so terrible.
Exactly. That's exactly my reasoning for it, because you're fighting against the stream at this point if you're following a lot of Orion's clues. You're the salmon going against the stream. It's harder. It's going to take longer. There's going to be more frustrations. But if you can quell the rebellion and have that calm and get that stability, you have bought yourself time and help, because Elder will be able to actually give you the time as well and devote resources into finding Orion's clues.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Last question.
Ooh.
Would you rather go to Centauri Earth or stay on Godspeed?
Oh, God. I'm going to Centauri Earth.
Yeah, same. I can't imagine staying on Godspeed. Like, you don't know if you have 6 months, 6 years, or 6 generations. And I know the fear of the unknown is scary, and there's a whole claustrophobia issue, agoraphobia thing going on.
Yeah.
Needing to keep the walls.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of my future generations dealing with my decisions, it's not fair.
Yeah.
Like my poor decisions, because I'm not going to say selfish, but I've done it to serve myself. I would rather take the chance on Centauri Earth.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Look, I just want to get away from Barty. Barty's made some bad decisions.
He's the worst.
Yeah, he's the
He
worst.
just needs to shut up.
Yeah. Ugh. Barty. Ugh.
It probably smells on Godspeed as well.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Because, I mean, yeah, they've had filtration systems and stuff, but the place is starting to, deteriorate.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little funky.
And there's been a lot of explosions.
Yeah, there's a lot of corpses floating around.
Yeah. It's like you can't get sleep all night for the thunk, thunk, thunk. All the corpses outside.
Yeah, just bonking into all the corpses. Ugh. What? Okay, that's the end. That's the end of Would You Rather.
For the best.
It is. Ending on the thunking of bodies. Favorite final thought quote. What do you have?
I couldn't get any kind of cheerful ones again. God, I'm so sorry. There's no one for funs for me.
I have a one for fun.
I have one.
I have one for fun.
You do good. I kind of have one that's a little bit more lighthearted, but it's not like fun. I'll say that one to last.
Okay.
The first one. Well, sometimes home is a person.
Oh. Yep.
And I think that's true for a lot of people.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Love without choice isn't love at all, which I think we can all agree with.
Yeah.
And my one for sort of funsies is, but Amy, Elder says, spacesuits!
Spacesuits!
Kid in the toy factory is just, oh, bless him.
Oh. Elder's so cute. Okay. I've got 3. One, it's the same time as Amy, spacesuits. It's when he's outside and he says, I am surrounded by the universe. If you just think about it, without the floating bodies that you're inevitably going to run into, just imagine being out there, tethered, far away.
Panic attack. I would start having a panic attack about that.
You think so? But
Yeah,
imagine looking around and seeing all the stars and seeing the planet. I think it would be amazing.
It would be amazing. It would be gorgeous. But then I would start thinking about how the vastness of space is a void.
Yeah.
And there's no oxygen. I do the same thing with oceans. Thinking about if I was like in a diving suit, and then start freaking out. So I have to change the channel in my brain.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is also in this same scene, and this is my one for fun, and I really, really like it because if you will recall, I said this in, was it Last Sacrifice by Rochelle Mead, the Last Sacrifice episode? I believe I said this in that one. I think you died a little bit. Remember Rose died a little bit? Rose,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you were like, how do you die a little bit? And then that happened in this one. Like, it literally, this is an exact quote. I think you died a little bit. That's why I picked that one, because it reminded me of Rose dying a little bit. But it actually happened. I think you died a little bit.
Oops.
And finally, oh no, Claire's broken. Okay.
I'm good.
I am getting off this damn ship. I don't care if the boogeyman jumps up as soon as the door opens and swallows me whole, so long as I can step outside just once. Amy's getting the first off the ship. Yeah. It's not the boogeyman, though, that swoops down and eats her immediately.
Ooh, spoilers.
Amy doesn't get eaten.
Doesn't she?
All right, if you like this, try this. What do you have?
I could not think of an appropriate sci-fi for the themes in this book because there's so many.
Yeah. I found so many books that will go along perfectly for next week's episode.
Yeah. It's narrowing it down at this stage. So, I've gone for a sci-fi book by Beth Revis.
Oh, I'm so shocked.
So shocked. And it's on my TBR. I haven't read it yet, but it is on my TBR. And it's a Star Wars tie-in book. Oh, Rebel Rising. So and I really want to read it. Mm-hmm. And if we were to cover it, I wouldn't be upset. The summary is...
Can we just do an entire, Star Wars month? Because there's a bunch of Star Wars books.
Can we do it in May, and then we can have May the 4th?
Yes. Done.
The theme for May is May the Force be with you, then.
Yes, done. Don't let us forget that, everyone.
Somebody write it down.
Send it to us.
I'm sure there's something last week we needed to write down and didn't.
Probably.
Anywho. So the summary is...
Yes, what?
When Jyn Erso was 5 years old, her mother was murdered and her father taken from her to serve the Empire. But despite the loss of her parents, she is not completely alone. Saw Gerrera, a man willing to go to any extremes necessary in order to resist imperial tyranny, takes her in as his own and gives her not only a home, but all the abilities and resources she needs to become a rebel herself. Jyn dedicates herself to the cause and the man, but fighting alongside Saw and his people brings it with it danger and the question of just how far Jyn is willing to go as one of Saw's soldiers. When she faces an unthinkable betrayal that shatters her world, Jyn will have to pull the pieces of herself back together and figure out what she truly believes in and who she can really trust.
Do you know, I really like Jyn Erso.
Yeah. I loved Rogue One.
Yes,
I adored that movie.
Me too. I thought Rogue One was great.
In fact, it was so self-contained. It was wonderful. I have one issue with it. And I can never remember what they're called, but in Star Wars when Princess Leia says many of these particular alien species died to get this to you. Not a single one of them was at the beach. That's my one and only issue.
Yeah. I didn't even catch that, so.
Yeah, that's it. What are you recommending?
I am going to recommend Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. She's a soldier. Noemi Vidal is willing to risk anything to protect her planet, Genesis, including her own life. To their enemies on Earth, she's a rebel. Hey, rebels. Hey. He's a machine. Abandoned in space for years, utterly alone, Abel's advanced programming has begun to evolve. He wants only to protect his creator and to be free. To the people of Genesis, he's an abomination. Noemi and Abel are enemies in an interstellar war, forced by chance to work together as they embark on a daring journey through the stars. Their efforts would end the fighting for good, but they're not without sacrifice. The stakes are even higher than either of them first realized, and the more time they spend together, the more they're forced to question everything they've been taught was true.
Ooh. Ooh.
Robot love in space?
That reminds me.
Of the J. Kristoff one?
No. Is it the mad scientist's daughter?
Yeah?
You may not have read that one. It was in another indie publisher release.
Oh.
It was... wow. Really good.
Nice.
Really good. Dystopian future, crazy scientist, robots.
Nice.
Love, Mars.
Okay, cool.
It's good sci-fi.
Good.
That might be next week's recommendation now.
Oh. I have an indie spotlight.
Do we have...
Yeah,
I was just about to ask, do we
I have an indie spotlight this week. And it's a graphic novel.
Nice.
Yes. And it's in space.
Yeah.
It's called Full Tilt Boogie by Alex Decampi and Eduardo Ocaña. T, along with her grandmother and cat, is a wannabe bounty hunter, odd-jobbing across the galaxy in her ship, the Full Tilt Boogie, constantly on the lookout for the bigger, better payday. Some days, though, it's less bounty hunting and more babysitting, especially when they rescue the narcissistic Prince Ivan from debtor's prison, accidentally sparking an intergalactic war. Suddenly, T finds herself chased across the universe, by sacred knights and unstoppable undead warriors. Planet-conquering, prince-rescuing, and ramen-eating, it's all in a full day's work for the crew of the Full Tilt Boogie.
That sounds brilliant.
Doesn't it sound like so much fun? It's like 64 pages. It's a tiny, fantastic space romp.
That sounds like a good live episode.
It might be. That could be fun. All right. That's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss Book 3 in the Across the Universe trilogy, Shades of Earth by Beth Revis. Look out for our Would You Rather polls on social media. Don't forget about our book club and monthly challenges on Facebook. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover-themed merchandise. And become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com, follow us on Instagram at fictionalhangover, find us on Facebook at facebook.com/fictionalhangover, and on Twitter at fictionalhangover, no ER. If you'd like this episode, check out our others and rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. And finally, special thanks to Liz Emerson for our music. You can find her on Facebook and Patreon. Thanks for listening.